Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There's a mosquito in here, and he has bit me like 5 or 6 times, driving me crazy. Twice on my back and like 3 or 4 times on my legs. You show yourself. I'm gonna get you, you little bastard. I went and bought like a big zapper. It's gonna be here later today. Might have to pause the stream to set that up in the middle of all this, but I digress. That's how my day has started. Sorry I'm late. I was trying to track down this guy, but he's so small. There's just so many different lights and stuff in here, and he's just hiding from me. He comes out like a ninja. Just gets me. Need to be faster, but I just can't. Just can't. He's in here somewhere, so well, we'll keep an eye on things. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get that little bastard. Anyways, today is the day. Now, I've looked back on my streams. It's been like 6 or 7 streams of DWM, and I know people are probably tired of hearing me talk about DWM. So today we're gonna actually try and make update the script, update LinUtil, which is gonna be the method to install it, update dependencies, and kind of clean things up. Now, we're not gonna get it perfect on the first shot, but we should get there pretty good. So should be fine. Totally fine. We'll get there. A little distracted, but that's all right. Man. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So that is the objective today, DWM. And got something special coming up here in the next couple days. I don't want to spoil it, but we might get some new stuff. Be great. Also, we did cross 2,000 members in the Discord, and Caleb's been like, hey, what should we do? We're doing a giveaway over on the Discord for some Twitch subs. So if you want a free Twitch sub, go sign up for the giveaway in the announcements section. So now that we are done with the intro of this stream, it is time we get down to brass tacks. Oh, how long does that go for too, Caleb? What'd you do, like a day? I think it's like 24 hours. So if you watch this in the future, it's probably over. 1 week. Okay, 7 days. My bad. Super organized guy. All right, let's get on the desktop. Let's get into it. Better mosquito, you better not come in here, dude. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna get you, you little tiny flying devil on a bastard. Swear. All right, so isn't there a chatting segment that lasts longer than expected? Well, you know, there's always chatting segments, usually interspersed in here, and you know, we'll see. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about before we get into it? Share your feelings. You know, I'm Chris Titus. Been streaming for on and off for almost 5 years now. Been on YouTube for 7 years. And I don't know what I do on this stream. I usually just chat, and we usually try and develop something. Whether or not we actually succeed, that's a whole different story altogether. But we usually have a good time. So that's it. Yeah. Why are we here? Why are any of us here? I don't know. Is there a place in the world that don't have mosquitoes, by the way? I think I want to move there. Here in Texas, there's Texas-sized mosquitoes. They're awful. Yeah. It can't be cold either. Sorry, that's another. I don't know if that fixes. If there's a place where it's warm and there's no mosquitoes, that's where I want to live. Space, probably. Yeah, but space is cold. Good to have you, Charlie. Man. Yeah, mosquitoes like the warmth, man. I just hate the cold. I'd rather deal with the mosquitoes than the cold, which is kind of funny. It's actually kind of cold here today. I mean, it's like 70 out, which is frigid for Texas in September. That's pretty much how we start. Oh, man.
All right. 20 Celsius. I can't even fathom negative 20 Celsius. I don't even know how you live in that. I would just die. I would just shrivel up and die. I can't. Now, 40 Celsius, I can deal with. I don't mind. I'm kind of crazy. I don't mind 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 plus Celsius. I'm totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. 9 months of winter. Oh my God. Sounds like my own personal hell. It might be easier to change your blood type to find a place that is warm with no mosquitoes. Dan, I mean, don't tempt me. I might find something there. Oh my God. Well, at least you don't have to deal with mosquitoes, I guess. So you got that going for you. Yikes. Yeah, 70 is perfect. India, how's it going, sir? Yeah, I bet it's pretty nice there. I know it gets pretty warm, but hey. Yeah, I think I'm A positive. So A positive is pretty common blood type. I don't know which blood type they don't like. I think it's like O negative or something. They don't. North Sweden is a cold place. Ah, Sweden. All right, sweet. Yeah, I visited about an hour north of Gothenburg. Stayed out there for about a month when in my 20s. So beautiful countryside. Absolutely loved Sweden. All right. A start menu with an Arch logo, I believe, is a must-have. Really? You think so, Charlie? I want to play Battlefield. Nada, don't you start with that Battlefield 6 nonsense. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We don't speak of any kind of Battlefield. I thought that was a banned word. I'm pretty sure I put it in the muted words list. Battlefield 6. No. PTSD. It's okay. It's okay, green screen. They didn't mean it. They didn't mean it. Trust me. It's fine. It's fine. It was just mentioned once. Okay. Okay. We're fine. Play once human. Nah, not so much. I don't play many new games. What about Call of Duty or Warzone? You know, Dan, I've played Warzone a good bit. I'm never really good at it, though. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I was never really that great at it. It's free, so I don't mind. All right, let's switch over to software and development. Let's get this thing going. We're gonna just jump right in. Building mechanic in the game. Ooh, okay. Building mechanic like Fortnite kind of style, which I didn't like. I'm not a big fan. Fortnite, I never ever played longer than like an hour or two. Could never get into the building mechanic of it. All right. Synergy. Yeah, that's right. We had some synergy problems. I do love the auto start feature from DWM. If you're not familiar, let's just, I wanted to actually change out this config.h. So right now we did have an auto start baked in feature, but some people are not going to want to use flame shot, which is currently baked in. And I'm thinking we could change that. Although it's kind of part of the hotkey. So nah. I think what we'll do is leave that because that's pretty much hard coded. Terminal command and other stuff, I think we could probably change as well and do like an XTG open. Thinking on that. That's not a bad idea, actually. Anywho, let's actually update the installer. Let's get going with LinUtil. Where are we at with that? It's been a while since we did anything with it. And if we go DWM setup here, let's take a peek. Now, Dex is one thing that's added. I feel like we had some other things that were needed in here. So this is currently what we have in Pac-Man. As far as APK and apt-get, those are going to be all broken. So it'll kind of work, but not great. let's go Pacman-Q. Let's just look at what we have installed here for our dependencies. So let's see, anything in here that's like, oh, we gotta have, oh, X screensaver. Screensaver. X screensaver, the big one. What else did we need? X prop was a big one too. I think X prop's a dependency of something we've already installed though. I want to say X11, Xenorama, XFT, IamLib2, Git, Xclip, Xarchiver. Yeah, I kind of want to add. I think Xorg, Xprops actually kind of needed. Let's just make sure, because that's going to be needed for Polybar. Actually, Polybar is not in here either. Polybar. We're gonna have a chill stream and play games. You know, occasionally. It's just a lot of times I play like really obscure games that nobody really cares about. So usually it's just like, And typically what I like to do in a game, you know, the one thing I never understood about Twitch is there's some people that are very entertaining when they play games. Don't get me wrong. You know, you got your like Jacksepticeye's and other people out there that do a great job to like kind of explain what's happening in the game. There's a certain skill level to streaming and gaming that I can appreciate. 99% of Twitch streamers aren't that. You have to like develop and curate that skill of talking through what's going on in the game, have the game somewhat moderately popular, and then also be entertaining and complement the game while you play it. Otherwise, I just feel like you're wasting time. Like a chill stream where you just kind of sit there, play a game, but not chat. I don't see a point in streaming if that's what you're doing. I think you have to add some level of entertainment. So I view streams as almost like a performance. And I think you have to. Otherwise, I don't know why you even stream. So I never get that. And I understand like, oh geez, what do we got? 1 second. Green screen chat? No. What was it? Oh, there it is. 1 second. What is it? Okay. But yeah, kind of like what my thought. Like there are people that like, what was it? Carnage? He doesn't really chat very much, but he's like an OG. So a lot of times it's more of like some of the OG original streamers, Summit1G, Carnage. I've kind of studied that whole thing. And I gotta say, I think that might have worked over a decade ago. But unless you have like a pretty big audience, I don't think it works in 2025, just in my opinion. Otherwise, I mean, I probably would just stream anything I was playing at the time. And some talk too much when gaming, and some people are just really annoying when they game. Agreed. There's a happy medium there. It just depends on what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Why Pac-Man command named Pac-Man? You know, that's a good question, Maya, and that's a question for the arch devs. I think they just have an obsession with Pac-Man. What's your opinion about Winboat? I don't think I've ever seen Winboat. What is that? Run windless apps, seamless integration. Looks cool. Really? Adobe Premiere 2023. Really? It's kind of funny. Internet Explorer. Well, does it have... Features, elegant interface. The interface does look good. That looks neat. When did this come out? What's their GitHub look like? Okay, loves open source, open project, browser repository. What do we got? 2K stars 8 hours ago, so pretty actively maintained. Written in TypeScript and Vue. What's Vue? And some Go? Interesting. Really? That's interesting. Well, I like it. It's pretty cool. I'll have to try that out. Let's go back to Winboat. I'll start. Come back to that. Yeah, I don't have an opinion because I haven't actually tried it. I really like it. It looks really cool. It's currently in beta, so it's pretty new. With any new one, you're going to run into some bugs. Electron app, guest server. You have... Oh. Very interesting. Okay. So it's going to be using RDP through a virtualized environment. Kind of dig it. Docker desktop. No, no. Wow. That looks like a very cool project. So if you're not familiar with this type of layout, essentially every app will work directly in Windows, and then they do an RDP essentially to connect to that Windows instance and launch the app. So it's like a native Linux app, but it's not. It's like a fool. It's like a magician's trick. So very cool. Yeah, so it's virtualization based. So yeah, it looks like a Windows app style setup though. It looks like another Windows app again, yeah. And this has been done quite a few times, but this looks like a really cool implementation of it. Yeah, I'll have to try it out sometime. We'll add it to the list. Winboat /WinApp RDP vert. We'll have to check that out. Very interesting. Yeah, remote apps has been around for 16 years, something like that. 16, 17 years. Battlefield 6 trailer, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We don't. Yep, I used myself something like that 20 years ago, done by hand, but still. Yeah, there was a remote app that was basically baked into Windows 7 and also Windows Server 2008 R2 was the emergence of a remote app from my first usage of it. So that would have been circa 2009, 16 years ago. Yeah. And then here's WinApps, which WinApps, oh, I've already started this one. This one's done yesterday. And as you can see, probably a very similar setup. This one's a little bit more tenured, and it's built with just shell, essentially. Very, very cool. You configure a VM. Both Docker and Podman are recommended backends for running the Windows virtual machine as they facilitated automated Windows installs. It's also compatible with libvirt, I honestly would like to do the libvirt because I already run a Windows instance, and libvirt is kind of my recommended way because, yeah, you do a lot of manual configuration, but what you can do is you can specify, like, I want this virtual machine to use this hard drive direct. So you got block-based stuff, because when you put it all in like a QCalc2 or a containerized setting on another hard drive, you have this weird conversion that happens with the data. It's very fast, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be raw level data access. So I like to dedicate, like if I'm going to be using a lot of Windows apps inside my Linux instance, I want raw access. So that Windows instance, I like it to live on its own separate drive that's dedicated to that Windows virtual machine. So I would probably do it in libvirt, even though it's going to be much harder to set up this way, but the payoff at the end would be much more performant compared to like a Docker or a Podman type setup. So I would probably set it up that way. And I also like tinkering a lot in Windows, so I like to be able to really fine tune it where you're going to have an easier time in the libvirt realm. But very cool. Yeah, and then you got free RDP. So you'd set this up. I think you go like that. I think WinApps is probably the one I would use. I don't need the fancy front end like WinBoat has, but I could see WinBoat being good for noobs, where they just kind of want it set up and go. Where WinApps, I think, is more for a professional that really is going to be using it a lot and wants maximum performance. And this is obviously a little bit more of a 10-year project. So that's what I see. Wait, how are you running Windows plus Linux at the same time? Oh, just virtualization. So like, I would say, here, we'll just use this one. I like Virt Manager, which is a QEMU KVM backend. It'll connect to the system. It'll display these drives, and then you can just run it. You can open that, and actually, let's just go like this. And then this would launch into your Windows, and then you can just launch whatever you need. Now, what we just explained with WinApp, just to kind of visually show you, you would essentially be booting a Windows inside your Linux. Now, I used to do this with PCI pass-through as well. I talked about passing through a hard drive, but ideally, if you want maximum performance, let's say you want a game, right? You don't want just like Adobe or Office Suite in your Linux. I would set it all in here, but then I would also be passing through a full-blown GPU. So I have like a GPU sitting over here that I could pass through, and then you would have, instead of a virtualized GPU like this right here, you would have your, like, I think that's a 1660. So I'd have an old RTX or not even RTX, that was just a 1660 period. And I would have that going in the background, and that would be pretty good. And then I'd also pass through the hard drive as well. This right here is totally virtualized though. A whole file system lives inside of a QCalc2 file, which is just a simple file that sits on the Linux hard drive. I don't necessarily like this. This isn't the most performant method. I mean, it's still not bad. You're going to have the occasional latency like that, popping up Task Manager, a little bit slow. Launching and using things, you'll have this little bit of latency, which I notice most users, honestly, it's going to be just as fast as most users' Windows as it is right here, because most people don't do jack with Windows. They just do the stock Microsoft. So they're just sitting there just dying, like just killing performance. I think back to, I had someone that brought me a computer, and then they're like, I'm building a new computer. This one's just too slow. And then I was like, is it though? I'm betting you just haven't. And then I was like, how about I just clean this up for you? I clean up the computer, give it back to him. And then he was like, bro, this is really fast now. And I was like, yeah, I know. It's not the hardware. It's just all the extra crap you had going, because I think he took a Windows instance and upgraded it like multiple times. Like I think he went from like Windows 7 to Windows 10, Windows 10 to Windows 11. So I mean, the whole thing was just gross and just so bloated and just so much crap running. And I was like, let me just do a clean install for you with the sane ISO and just everything stripped down to where when you pull up the start menu, you don't have like recommended and just a whole crap ton of stuff sitting on the start menu. And then we just install exactly what you need. And then your bottom right hand corner where there's all the stuff down in there, which I'm in front of right now, but is not just bogged down with gaming crap, extra like external antiviruses and internet suites, and God, there's just so many gross things Windows users do that just completely kill their performance. I digress. I could sit here and talk about this crap all day long about how people just throw money at the problem and never address the problem, and then they just get a new computer and then it slows down after a couple months. They're like, why is that? And I'm like, well, software is what makes things go. Really important you get good at software. Yeah. Phoronix did an article yesterday performing Windows 11 performance to Ubuntu, the last and next of each, and Ubuntu beat Windows 11 in almost every instance. Oh, damn, Bill, I need to find that article. All right, sorry, we're gonna go back to just chatting. I switched too soon. I gotta look this up. Phoronix. Where is this thing? Man, Phoronix makes so many articles. Here we go. This is it right here. First benchmarks of Windows 11 25H2 versus Ubuntu 2510. Oh, yes. Now, 25H2, as much as I usually crap on the updates, 25H2 isn't as bad as most of them. 25H2 is currently shaping up to actually have a debloat baked in by stock defaults, which that was a long time coming, because if you look here, Windows utility has over 10 million runs now. 10 million. That's insane. That's just in about a year and a half worth of tracking. So we didn't even track this from the beginning. If this was 5 years, we probably would be 20 million, because this is slowly ramped up to where it's just constantly being run. I think last time I checked, it was around 20,000 runs per hour on Windows utility. So a lot of people are like, why don't you? I'm very protective of Windows utility and what we actually submit for a stable release because of how many users we have. It's an absolute metric ton. So I'm very, very specific on how I do releases. All right. Anyways, let's continue on here. Good time to benchmark to see how they perform. Given the popularity of AMD Ryzen, let's just see the benchmarks. Let's see. Can we get a little bit bigger? So same hardware, same everything. Memory looks a little bit different. This one's, it looks like the Windows counterpart is rocking both 6,000 megahertz, DDR5, both using a 1 terabyte drive, 9070 for both. Audio about the same. What the hell's it? Wait a second. RX 9070. Give me prices. About $600 card. Okay. I think I'm still rocking 6800 XT inside. Maybe I upgrade soon. I got this one out here is a 4070. Anyways, sorry. I just wanted to double check. For the builds, they're doing Windows 11 Pro 26110. That's the 25H2 update. File system, they're using ext4 over here. Honestly, they could probably eke out a little bit more performance if they used XFS. I find XFS has the biggest performance out of any file system that I've done in my personal testing, but ext4 is old, tried and true. Same with NFS. I mean, you're not going to change from NTFS. It's just the same window. I hate NTFS. Such a shitty file system. But it's over 20 years old. For the time, it was decent. But it is very, very much showing its age in 2025. All right. GNOME. Oh, God. GNOME? GNOME Shell with Wayland is what they're doing the testing on. God, they could ink out a lot more performance here. So they could go XFS, a window manager, an Xorg, and I guarantee they're going to be able to blow these numbers up quite a bit in Linux. So frankly, a lot of room to improve here in the Linux realm of things. Okay, first benchmarks. Sizable difference. Nodes per second, more is better. 2510 is actually better and performing more than 2402. Interesting. Then Lux Core Renderer. All these are done using the Phoronix test suite as well. So if you've never used PTS, it's amazing. Shout out to them. It's a great testing tool. So 2404 scores better in this one, which I kind of anticipate a lot of 24H. Yeah, Ubuntu 24 should perform better than most of this other stuff because it's using kind of a heavy setup with pure Wayland with good GNOME. 2510 here, which, I mean, these numbers are so close in the differing Ubuntu numbers that I bet if you run this a bunch of times, you're going to see a little bit more of a variance, but negligible. The same for this. But man, look how much it's beating the Windows counterpart. That is a considerable difference on the actual performance here. Whew. Open image denoise, about the same. Decode's about the same. OSP Ray, what is that? Particle volume. Just destroys Windows. And all those tests. Stockfish for chest benchmark. This is, man, I guess that just shows you how much crap Windows hasn't running in the background for some of these benchmarks. Man, more OS Ray, CPU miner. This is just raw mining, essentially. Crypto miners for mining cryptocurrencies. Here's an encoder. This is more video. Pretty close. You can see on all those encoders, close to the same. Indigo bench, more of a gaming indicator on that. Yeah, man. All right, one last page here for the benchmarks. You can see almost every single benchmark, whether it's raw or video. It's kind of crazy how much better Linux is in these benchmarks. Now, having said that, you still got to remember on these benchmarks, it doesn't tell the full story when it comes to straight up gaming. And I'll explain why. why this is so far ahead of Windows. But in practice, when you're actually gaming on Linux, you'll find that it's very near the same performance as Windows, even though Linux and all these raw tests come out so far ahead. And the reason for that is very simple. Every game is built for Windows in mind. Almost no games on Linux are native. Very, very few are native, but the ones that are native, you'll notice that they perform so much better on Linux compared to the Windows counterpart in some instances. That's not always true, because guess what? They don't test Linux very much. A lot of times when there is a native client, they usually just have the option there, and they're just like, oh, Unreal has a native build for Linux. Sure, why not build for it? But they don't ever optimize for Linux in mind. So everything's always optimized for Windows, and Windows is still losing sometimes. That's insane. But typically in real world practice of testing games like FPS, just raw FPS and frame times, you're going to see a 20% decrease in comparison to the Linux counterpart. So like Linux is going to be 20% worse than most Windows in practice. But yeah. All right, 1 second, guys. I need to take a break. I know we just started, but I gotta take a break. Nature calls. Be right back. Hang in there. Oh geez, let's see, make sure my screen doesn't go black. Okay, we're good. It's still retaining those settings. Okay, I'll be right back. Here. I'm gonna make it. I know. Oh, thanks, Caitlin. I'll go check it out. All right, man. Let's go. Yeah, man. Rocks. It was it needed to be it was a quick trip. I was like, oh man, when it hits, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, that was kind of an interesting article about this being more performant. I know for a fact these numbers can be pushed higher, because Ubuntu's kind of bloated these days, especially with a GNOME / Wayland base. That's very heavy. And it's running just old traditional ext4, where you could squeeze out even more performance in some of these tests using XFS in comparison. So yeah, that's pretty wild. And I think that just goes to show just like the shitification of Windows. This Windows should be just decimating Ubuntu in gaming tests, because everything's built for Windows in mind. Now, having said that, these tests are meant to be like even the playing field, so they don't necessarily tell the real world story, where if you actually do benchmarking tests in game, you'll see these get flip-flopped. This would be Ubuntu and Windows would be up here for in-game FPS, just because Linux has to essentially convert the entire game from DirectX to Vulkan in real time. The fact it can do that, only sacrificing 10-20% performance, is just amazing. So yeah. Whew. Chris, now that you're famous, are you going to forget about us and spend time with other folks like the Kardashians? Lazy Dev, I am not famous. I just want to throw that out there. I have only been recognized in real life one time outside of like a conference. So at conferences, obviously, if you go to a YouTuber conference, people are going to notice you. But I am not famous, nor do I want to be. Because most people do not know who I am, and I'm totally okay with that. I think that's a good thing. Well, let's see what else you have. You will find this useful for migrating XDG auto start via a GUI. What you got? Ignition. Really? Now that looks fancy. That looks real fancy. Oh, actually, let's get back to it. Switch back to old software and development. I don't even have Flatpak installed. Did I purge Flatpak at some time? Apparently I did. Weird. Old Flatpak. Although, you know, I'm okay with Flatpak. I guess I did. Wouldn't be the first time, nor the last. Yeah, I gave up on tiny RSS. I think I'm just gonna keep. Why fix this? Something that's not broke. I still like my fresh RSS feed. This gets me what I need, right? I mean, honestly, when we were checking Pharonics, the best thing I could have done was come into here, hit Pharonics, and then go, hey, that benchmarking. Oh, yeah, here we go. This would have been better. Look, it pulled in all the benchmarks into a single page. So then we didn't even have to go to next page. You see how much time we wasted reading that article? If I would have just come into my RSS feed, it would have been just gravy. Because it goes ahead and pulls all the pages, so you're not sitting there going next page, next page, next page. Gotta get better. Gotta get better. Get good. Ooh, is FOSS? It's FOSS might be blocking RSS feeds. What's going on with that? Can we refresh it? Maybe it was just a fluke. No. What's happening? Let's go manage. Huh. Let's check the validity of the feed. I can see websites blocking a lot of things. I've seen the entrance of a lot of websites doing like paywalls and other stuff like that. It looks like its FOSS might have gotten rid of its RSS feed, which I guess makes sense because if people are just doing RSS feeds, they miss out on all the ad revenue. Well then, unfortunate. Well, I guess we're gonna have to remove its FOSS, huh? Yeah, maybe. What was the last time it updated? Let's just cancel. Cancel. All right. September 8th. That was yesterday. Maybe it's just having a bad day. Meh. Anyways, sorry. I digress. Let's get going here. Yeah, but I like my fresh RSS with, I think I'm still using 5 fingers to do the RSS aggregation. Because instead of just doing a raw RSS feed where you just get links back to the articles, I like to pull in the entire article. Still working on it. All right, ignition. Let's try this ignition thing. Ignition. Well, Probably need a reboot for it to populate, but whatever. We'll just do a Flatpak run. And that's pretty cool. Do we have a settings? Guess I'm just gonna blind you all. That's okay. I needed to wake up. I hadn't had enough coffee this morning anyways. Man, this is looking good. I like all of this. Very cool. So like, let's say we go into a set refresh, you can see the command. Ah, very neat. And if we wanted to add a command, so you could go Control N for a new entry. You could go Control F to find, and Control S to save. Control Shift O will open up. Control Shift O. Oh, that's cool. Very neat. Yeah, Flatpak theme is always interesting. Yeah, we shouldn't be using SL status anymore. I need to redo all of that. Very cool, though. Is your perfect system concept, Rocky Linux and Nix, still viable today? Yeah, too, Caleb. In theory. The problem with that is I like to tinker a bunch, but if I only had a select number of apps and I just kind of sat on the same programs I use day in and day out, the Rocky Nix perfect system theory would hold up. That's just not me as a user, so it doesn't really work for me per se, but I could totally see it working for many. So yeah, no, that's a good, I still stand by that video. I think it's very, very good. Yeah, I hate AUR. I avoid AUR like the plague. AUR is like the best way to screw up your Arch instance. Like AUR just is problematic. I would much rather use a Flatpak than AUR in almost every instance, but I try to stay away from both. All right, well, let's fix the DWM. Let's continue our fixing of things. Query. The mosquito's just fat. He's still flying around my damn legs. Damn mosquitoes. I think he's coming for his snack, for midday snack, it looks like. Such is life. All right. This is fine. What about XDG desktop portal? What else are we installing here? Man. Oh, we're going to have to erase so much of this. I feel like this is all wrong. Like, all these installs are wrong. This is close, but no. We're gonna get rid of all that. Actually, let's just come down. And we're going to just go unsupported package manager. I'm going to get rid of everything that's not Arch. Right now, there's so much changing that I don't want to mess with this. It's just a recipe for disaster. Let's just focus on Arch on the DWM install. I might add stuff in the future, but first I want to get all this done and fixed. As far as PyCom dependencies, libev, This is wrong too. All right, let's just clean this up. Wow. Yeah. Okay, let's clean this up. SL status. This should be polybar. Just switch from SL status to polybar. Let's go one over. Nah, actually, let's just delete this whole thing. All right, clone config directories. Set up display managers. Let's just go here. We're gonna clean all that. Interesting. All right, I like that. All right, so we have display manager, backgrounds, configuration. Then we'll do the configs, which is scripts to bin. Perfect. Then we have the config folders themselves that gets pushed over. Great. PyCom animations. This is a thing of the past. FT Labs got rebranded. Let's get rid of that. PyCon dependencies is no longer a thing. And we're going to just use all direct packages from Pacman. So this is looking better. Yeah, I just feel like when you're doing so many changes, trying to support and update a gajillion different package managers just is a fool's errand. We're never going to get finished if we do that. So Fay, also utilities, Ghosty, Rofi, Xclip, Xarchiver, Thunar, PyCom, Polybar. All right, let's pull up and look at some more packages. What else do we have? Did we got X screensaver? Yes. X init, I don't think we're really using, so I don't think that matters. XDG user directories. I think those get automatically added here, but we're going to go ahead and pull those over because I could just see that being a thing. Same with XDG desktop portal. Let's just grab the GTK desktop portal. So there's that. XCButil. Man, I kind of want to grab the X265 and set up. Might be a little much. Let's wait on that. All right, continuing on here. Virtual machine management, we got to update that in LinUtil as well. TTF. I'm kind of hesitant, and I don't know if I like the manual way I do it here, or if we should just grab all the nerd fonts and just do the TTF packages, because those are actually baked into Pac-Man right now. Something to think about for the future. I just want to kind of vocalize it. Almost immediately gaming, so probably later today you should be able to do this. Terminus font. Oh god, I kind of want to add that to the Arch install. If we look, if we go server setup, there's Terminus font. So when's the ch root take place here? Because I've noticed on this, sometimes Terminus font's not in here. I just think it should be a default on every system. So here's the ch root, and then the key map, and then the bin bash. And this is where we're setting up network manager. Is network manager dependent on DHCP CD? I don't think it is. I'll leave it for now. Anyways. Font. So we'll do terminus-font. So we got curl terminus font. Right as we do that. Gravy. I just wanted to add that. Yeah. No, you don't need it for network man. I didn't think so. Let's get rid of that. All right. There we go. So now we got just blanket network manager, terminus font. That's just a little optimization that can be done. Package managers are evil. I gotta look at this. Why are package managers evil? Ginger Bill. What an amazing name. God, he better be a red-haired bearded man. With a name like Ginger Bill, I just want a picture of this guy. That would be amazing. Yeah, I digress. All right. Package managers are evil. This is written in version of dialogue from a YouTube video. Oh, there is a YouTube video.
Okay. This is my...
Wait, is that Ginger Bill? Yes. Ah, vindication. Didn't this guy make Odin? Oh, could be wrong. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, cool. Same guy. All right, package managers are evil. Written by Ginger Bill, otherwise known the creator of Odin, the network language. To start, I need to make a few distinctions between concepts a lot of programmers mix up: a package, package repositories, build systems, and package managers. There are a lot of separate. They are all separate and can have no relation to one another. I have nothing wrong with packages. In fact, Odin has packages built into the language. I have nothing wrong with repositories, as that's how a lot of people discover new packages, a search engine, something I think everyone uses on a daily basis. Build systems are usually language dependent, specific, and for Odin, I tried to minimize the need for a build system entirely, at least as a separate thing. Where most projects will build with Odin build, which works due to linking information being defined in the source code itself with the foreign system. This leaves package managers. What do they do? Package managers download packages from repositories, handle the dependencies, and tries to fix them, and then downloads its dependencies and its dependencies and its dependencies. And you can probably see where my criticism is going. It's fair. This is the automation of dependency hell. The problem is not that not everything needs to be automated, and especially hell. Dependency hell is a real thing, which anyone who has worked in a large project has experienced. I certainly have, multiple times. Projects have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dependencies where you don't know if they will work properly, where all the bugs, you don't know how anything's being handled. It's awful. This is wrong thing to automate. You can do this manually. However, it doesn't stop you from getting into hell. Rather, it just slows you down as you can put yourself into hell. In fact, everyone puts themselves into hell voluntarily. I've been there. Sometimes I like just going just to see what the temperature's at. The point is, I think how you get there. So you have to download manually. You will start thinking, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe I'll do this instead. And when you need to update packages, being manual forces you to be careful. That's my general criticism. The unnecessary automation. I kind of see where he's going here. What's the alternative to this, though? Build everything from manually? Update manual projects? That would be worse than dependency hell from a package manager, right? All right, let's see. Most package managers usually have to define what a package is because the language itself does not have a well-defined concept of a package in the language. JavaScript is a great example of this, as there are different package managers for the language, NPM being the most popular. But because each package manager defines the concept of a package differently, it results in the need for a package manager. Yeah, that's a real thing. This is why I'm saying it is evil, as it will send you to hell quicker. Well, you just got to get a good package manager. God, mitigations in some languages. When using some languages such as Go, most people don't seem to need many third-party packages, even though Go has built-in package manager. The entrance to hell seems far and hard to get to. The reason such languages don't fall into this trap as quickly is because those languages have a really good core standard library, batteries included. When using Go, for example, you don't need any third-party libraries to make a web server. Go has it all there, and you are done. Go has even a Go compiler built into its standard library. In fact, it has two, a high-level one for tooling and one with the actual compiler itself. The meaning of dependency. In real life, kind of to summarize here, honestly, my favorite, I'm going to get just completely roasted in chat for this. My favorite package manager for like languages is Cargo. Cargo's absolutely just a Chad. I absolutely love it when it goes and builds things. It's publishing. It's just great. I have never had a problem with Cargo that I just love it to death. I've installed so many things like packages, specifically MD Book, which I use for the linuxbook.com. This whole site was built, the HTML, everything behind it was built with MD Book. And guess what? I didn't install it through a package manager in the traditional sense. I used just straight up Cargo, because Cargo resolved all the dependencies, everything I needed, and it just installed everything perfectly on any system, no matter if it's Arch, Debian, whatever. MD Book just works because of Cargo. God, I love it. But he didn't mention Cargo here. He big Go fan, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of Go. I don't know why I don't like Go. I've messed with it, dabbled with it, but it just never really spoke to me. Anyways, I'm sorry. Get a little sidetracked. I just wanted to give my 2 cents there. Oh yeah, Cargo doesn't work well on NixOS. Who uses actual NixOS? I mean, it should just be sysadmins out there. NixOS is not meant for your average day Linux user. It's meant for people wanting replicatable Linux installs with no customization. Normal people using Nix are just brain damaged, in my opinion. And that's speaking from personal perspective here. I'm a bit brain damaged, and I tried to use it for 3 months, I think, 2 or 3 months. And I was like, what am I doing? This is stupid. I'm constantly changing my install. Why would I ever pick Nix? This is awful. I want to game. I want to do all this other stuff. Yeah, you can do it on Nix, but it's just an absolute massive headache. Ugh. Sorry. I digress. All right, the meaning of dependency. In real life, when you have a dependency, you're responsible for it. Yada, 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 yada. I'm not going to read all this. I get where you're going. We know the dependency. Unbacked high trust. People rarely, if ever, vet their code, especially third-party code. Most people assume random code off the internet just works. God, ain't that the truth? Hey, there's half the stuff on my repos, by the way, is broken. I know it's broken. I gotta fix it. I just haven't gotten around to it. So, high trust. I am not, especially when it comes to my GitHub repos. The only one I really vet every single day, every single week is LinUtil. There's never a week that goes by where I don't pull up LinUtil and do a compile or a look at the code. But that requires a lot of time and effort, and I have like 70 different repositories. Half those repositories probably haven't been updated in months, and when you run into those, just don't expect it to work. But yeah, that's really a thing. A lot of people do expect everything to just work, and everyone that codes just magically knows what they're doing, when in reality, most people don't. Even like the people like the Primogen and your big like marquee programmers that are put up in pedestals, they're still probably wrong half the time. They're still, when they're publishing code and stuff, they're probably still screwing stuff up more than half the time. There's nobody that makes perfect code right out of the get-go. There's only people that lie about making perfect code, and then people that make just regular old code. Half the times it's not going to work. The better you are, like Primogen, I'm sure makes good code, but a lot of times you're just going to have logic errors. You're going to have all this other stuff that goes in, no matter how experienced you are, because it might be the first time you're trying to approach a certain task. Now, if you're just redoing a task you've done 1,000 times, it's probably going to be good code. It's probably going to execute. It's going to be probably a good thing. But yeah, whenever you approach something new or you're trying to do something new, just don't expect it to work right out of the gate. There's nobody that's perfect. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continuing on. Argument was made by Primogen, not myself. The gel man amnesia effect. We've had an explosion of engineers over the past 10 years, which have come just in the advent of all these package managers coming out with all these languages all at the same time. So programmers felt very daunting. When you don't know how something works, it feels daunting, especially when you first start out. That's true. The thing that is confusing, especially the high trust argument that was being made, there's this weird gel man amnesia effect going on. What a weird name. I wonder who made it that way. I guess you could look it up on Wikipedia. I'm not gonna. You read one page and it's all about horses and you feel, man, I know a lot about horses. And this is like the Dunning-Kruger effect? Anyways, sorry. Then I flip to the next page. It's all about JavaScript. You go, man, they got to know everything wrong about JavaScript. Then you flip to the next page. I know a lot about Beatles. Was this guy reading a book on like pirate software? What's going on? You just forgot they are super wrong on the thing you understood, and you think everything else is correct. You find engineers who will go, some of my coworkers are so horrible. Hey, let me download this library off the internet. This is going to be awesome. It's crazy, as if they go and go, wow, 1/3 of this stuff cannot 1/3 of the staff cannot program anything. Also, I'm going to trust every open source package I've downloaded. So there's the gel man amnesia in programming code, where people who do open source or open things are viewed as the best of the engineers, when that isn't true. I agree with that statement. I think I said something like this just yesterday about it. Like, just yesterday, I think I was talking about this when I was like, nobody's perfect. There's nothing that exists that is just everyone knows everything about this thing. That doesn't happen. Like, there's people that want to follow those that really know everything, but nobody does know everything. And even those that have just mastery in a certain subject, they have to do that thing, that one thing for 10,000 hours, I think is what most experts would say. You have some level of mastery if you do that one thing for 10,000 hours. Most people don't have that much time in the day, much less their careers. So usually you spend 10,000 plus hours. When I think about the things I have mastery over, it's not the things you'd think. The things I've spent 10,000 hours on that I have a level of mastery in is nothing I've done on YouTube. Maybe Linux at this point. Maybe. Like, I think Linux from a system perspective, I probably put almost 10,000 hours into just system design and just messing around in Linux. But not from, and most of that's just hobbyist style messing around. Most of the things I've had the most effort and time put into is Windows Server, actually. Windows Server I have stared at for thousands upon thousands of hours over 20 years. That's the thing I have absolute mastery of. There's very, very little that happens on a Windows Server box that I haven't dealt with at least 2 or 3 times. And it's really important to know, even that, I'm not saying I know everything about Windows Server. I'm saying there's still probably stuff that pops up, especially in the tech realm, because, well, luckily for me, Microsoft really doesn't change. They usually just throw new coats of paint on top of crap. So usually there's all the old stuff I know is still there controlling things. It's just new wizards that they add. Surprisingly enough, they've repackaged things. But I digress. A lot of things in tech, especially in the Linux and programming sphere, change so rapidly. I don't think anyone ever gets to 10,000 hours before shit just changes. A lot of times it changes. Now, the concepts stay the same, so they might have mastery of the concepts, but the actual syntax and actual application of the thing, man, when it comes to programming, I don't think you do. So anyways, it's really interesting. But yes, masters make mistakes too. 1,000%. Just less mistakes. All right, getting back to it. Yeah, that's funny though. The elitism, as we call it. Don't be an elitist. Everyone hates working with people like that. All right. Evolution of selective pressure. Most people assume programming is like every other industry, like actual engineering, which has been around for thousands of years, or modern science, been around for half a millennium. People trust that they will perceive to be the experts as they see all these articles, books, conference videos, and tell you stuff for the most part, which does not necessarily seem true. I remember trusting those that were perceived to be experts, that were exposing wisdom. However, as I program more over the years, I realize there is a very, very little wisdom in the industry. This industry is 70, 75 years old at best. And that is not old enough to have any good evolution selective pressure. It is not old enough to get rid of the bad things. It hasn't evolved quick enough. I wonder where he's going here. This one. We will find out in a few hundred years, and I mean hundreds, which is actually good wisdom in programming. This whole paragraph seemed vibe coded. I'm just saying. Vibe thought. Let's keep going. Let's see where he's going here. There are some laws where we know Conway's law, where organizations with guys, there's something I gotta say on the tech sphere, and I'm very blunt, and I'm probably a little older than most of the people online that you probably watch. When people throw around a lot of jargon, like here's this law, or it refers to the, Dunning-Kruger effect's probably the most popular that's done in like YouTube essays, but there's many others that you could throw in here. When people overcomplicate things, just when explaining things, I trust this person less, because what shows me someone's a master is when that master can make someone that's an idiot understand the thing. That's the difference between someone that knows a lot and someone that doesn't know shit. Now, you might be thinking, Titus, half the things you say, I don't know what you mean. That just means you probably shouldn't think of me as a master. Mastery is the ability to take a complex thought, break it down into something simple, and be able to teach someone, pretty much anyone, what you're saying. That's what mastery is in my eyes. So when I read something like this whole paragraph, it's this convoluted mess of a paragraph. I don't know where the hell he's going with this evolutionary selective pressure. That tells me he doesn't have a level of mastery in what he's talking about. And I'm throwing shade at the guy that wrote a freaking programming language here. Or maybe this is Primogen. I don't know who said this. I'm just saying this is not a very well constructed argument for these couple paragraphs. It could have been written better. Just saying. Conclusion. Let's continue on. PhDs can't explain to normies. It's a fair point. My general view is that package managers, and not the thing, like how, like where is he going with this? Like this seems, again, how's this relating to package managers? Like how does this strengthen the argument that package managers are evil? Again, it's we're not talking about something overly complex of why package managers suck. So far, there's a lot of dependencies, and sometimes there's managers of the package managers that can cause problems. But these is overcomplicating in this article for the simplicity of the argument. It weakens the argument is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You get it? All right, good. Let's move on. Conclusion. My general view is that package managers, and not the things I made distinctions about, are probably, in general, a net negative for the entire programming landscape. It should be avoided if possible. So how do I manage code without a package manager? Through manual dependency management. Regardless of the language, it's a very good idea that you know what you're depending on for your project. Copying and vendoring each package manually. Fixing the specific versions down is the most practical approach to keeping a code base stable, reliable, and maintainable. Automated systems such as generic package managers hide the complexity and complications in a project, which are much better not hidden away. Not everything can be automated, ought to be automated. Maybe from a programming standpoint, but I kind of disagree with that. I think everything that can be automated should be automated. I fundamentally disagree. I think things should be easy. Straightforward and easy. If they can be, they should be. Anyways, so sorry. The automation of dependency hell is a case which you should not be encouraged. Should not be encouraged. People love to put themselves in hell, dragging others down with them, and a package manager enables that. Another issue is that other languages, the concept of package is ill-defined in the language itself, and such package managers itself should be trying to define the concept of what a package is, which leads to many issues. Sometimes, if they are multiple competing packages managers with different definitions of what a package is, the monstrosity of the package manager arises, and that's where the hell begins with it. I don't like the article. Just being real. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't agree with it. I fundamentally disagree with the whole article. Because there's so many different languages, and not everyone's going to want to do things. In certain languages, I think do it better than most. And as much as I like to crap on Rust for its very illegible syntax and weird funkiness, I do love its package managers per se. And as far as like package managers built into Linux, Yeah, there's some times where it just really sucks when they, or depending on old libraries, like the difference between building a package in Debian and building a package in Arch is a massive difference, because Debian is going to use a version of the library that's considerably older than that of Arch. So it can lead to installing the same library twice. A newer version you build from scratch using something that's not like apt, which is the baked-in package manager of Debian. And in Arch, a lot of times it should be the correct versioning. Sometimes you can pin the version if you really care about what version you need. But I don't know. I mean, what's the solution here? I think, like I said, I think Cargo with Rust does the best job out of all the package managers I've seen, where it pulls the specific versions needed and then builds it right there in front of you and installs it. It's really nice, because then you can just do a direct publish, and then people just can go Cargo install the package, and it grabs everything that's needed and is nice and tidy. And maybe that's the argument he's making, is the programming language should be the one to do it all, and you shouldn't just auto update crap with like Dependabot. I just don't like how the article was written, I think, is probably the biggest thing. Yeah. So, I don't know. But I love automating. That's my bag. Probably a shot. Yeah, it's probably a shot at like TypeScript and JavaScript and those types of things, which I don't mess with. A lot of those, I'm just not a fan. I look at it, I don't like the syntax. I don't like, got it, but it's everywhere. It's just everywhere. Like, real programmers gotta learn JavaScript and TypeScript and understand those things. Rust projects usually have a lot of unnecessary dependencies. It depends on who coded it. But yeah. Yeah, that's true. I purged it all and we cleaned it up. But what's the alternative to that? I guess you could just reinstall from scratch each time. How did you first come across Linux, and when did you first start using it? Which distro did you start off with? I think I started, was it Fedora? Let me see, I can tell you. So I have a background, a sysadmin background. So I'm not a programmer. I didn't come from writing programs. So please take this with a grain of salt. Everything I've said comes from that background. But if you look, I think it was 30. Let's do a filter of 30. So this is when I started YouTube back in the day. So as a context here, I started YouTube, let's see, November, it was actually September of 2018. I just crossed about 7 years being on YouTube. The idea when I first launched YouTube was I have a lot of sysadmin background, and I saw the home lab scene at the time didn't have that much competition. There was some like OGs in this space. You had crosstalk communication, you had Lawrence PC Systems. I think Jeff from Craft Computing was just getting started as well. There's a couple other home labbers in the scene, but not very many, and not nearly as many as today. And I was like, I'm going to get in on that scene. So I was kind of more in the home lab sysadmin space when I first launched. And then I got a comment. I think I made an off the cuff comment about Linux in a thing. And I was like, I really love Linux from a server perspective. And then people were like, well, you can't use Linux for a desktop. And I was like, let's figure it out. So this was me talking about Linux for the first time. And
what it looks like. It's
so this right here, if you look, this entire setup is GNOME.
an interesting thing. I mean, this is Word 2010, so it's not great, but you know, hey.
And even back then, I really liked customization. So I think I picked Ubuntu, and this is a GNOME flavor of Ubuntu.
It works.
And it was bad. I hated what I did here.
Outlook on here. I have a couple other things. And then I also have my Photoshop, which is not too bad. And I'm learning GIMP, but there is quite a big learning curve to GIMP. And I'm going to get into this a little bit, but I wanted to at least show you guys, hey, it's doable. You can pull up your Photoshop. You can pull up your Word. I have gotten some crash.
Yeah. So I'm like, God. Yeah, I would say this is my first iteration of it. So this was like the first week on it, and I go through each part, specifically Photoshop and Office. I try to bring those in because I was a big time user of those back then. I tried to like have alternatives like GIMP instead of Photoshop, and I think I was using HurryMail, which is gone, defunct. I think they went out of business. Paid products just don't work in Linux, and Hurry Email figured that out. And then instead of Notepad++, Kate and Atom were solid. Atom's actually defunct now. They got rid of that. But obviously VS Code took off in the past 7 years. That kind of took the place of Atom. And then Kden Live I used for the first 500 videos I did on YouTube. But each version of this is me going back through, and I think I give almost a 3 or 4 day update each way. Show like file transfers, things I miss.
Day 5, switching to Linux.
A flare of the dramatic here. What happened here? I forget. How I think I was running into some like encoder errors or something.
So I was losing my mind, and I spent way too much time on this, where it should have just been a 5-second fix, and it is a 5-second fix. So if you ever get this error right here, just go ahead and flip back to your Kden Live. So let's
yeah. So there's some things here. Like when I did this whole challenge in 2018, I was working about 45, 50 hours at my day job. And then I get home at night, eat with the fam, hang out with like the kids for a little bit. And then usually about 9 p.m., 10 p.m., I would start coding and working on a video. And back in these days, I was doing one video every single day. And I would just not go to sleep until I finished the video. So this is actually not too far from the truth. Like, it's probably like 2 or 3 in the morning here. And that was just me like finishing the video with an update to switching to Linux. And then I probably went to go and code. Usually I finished around like midnight to 1 a.m. And then I think I had this Kden Live issue, and it took me like an hour or 2 to fix. So I think I ended up going to bed at like 3 in the morning. During this era. But this gives you a full-blown, hey, this is my real-world experience as I switched to Linux from being a lifetime Windows user back in 2018. Here, I'll share the whole playlist so you guys can flip through it. And I think I went through and tried to cut out like old ads or anything that was in these videos to try and make them as streamlined as possible. So most of them should only be like 5 minutes long. Is I think I started with like a GNOME version of Ubuntu, and then I switched to Fedora, and then I think later on I do like a switching entire like whole thing. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, they're very, very old, but it gives you a more practical example of switching to Linux. The problem with most Linux creators on YouTube, myself included here, is the fact that we forget what it was like when we first started. And the nice thing I have is I do have that first 30 days. That first 30 days of a desktop user where I was a little different because I understood and used the terminal and CLI a bunch. And I think in the beginning, I tried to use it like Windows, and that was a big, massive mistake in my first 30 days, was trying to use Windows applications, trying to use it like I used Windows and using the GUI to configure things. It was just stupid. I should have just treated it like a Linux server from day one, and I would have had a much better experience. And that's just kind of like the thought. Yeah. Anywho. God bless. What are we at? Let's switch back to development. My gosh, it's been just a yapping stream the entire time. All right, we're gonna switch back to old living. Yeah, nobody uses Ubuntu anymore for the most part. I think it still has a bunch of people on it, but I think for the most part, you just don't. Most people don't. All right, let's continue through our dependencies here. I blame Phoenix for derailing us. Continuing on here, Starship, all that, the Bash theme, that'll get installed with the Bash theme. Rofi, is that in here? Yeah, Rofi's in here. Python, not needed. Polybar, we did add. What about Pipewire? I don't see Pipewire in here anywhere, so let's go ahead, do a Pipewire. All right. We have that. PyCom we already added. Right here, I'm just kind of going through, checking things. Probably like a Pavu control. Be another one. OCS URLs, I kind of want to install that, but I don't. Some people aren't, and yeah, no, we won't do it. Noto fonts emoji, maybe. Not really anything that's needed though. All right. As far as Linux firmware, that's just dependent on each system. I might have some kind of install, but that'll probably be on the Arch server script for installing those specific firmwares, like the Xcode and all that. It's the Linux server install. Nothing here for actually installing DWM. So server-based or just the system functionality should all be on the Linux server side, and then actual usability of this entire interface, all the GUI stuff should be here. We already have Ghosty, so that's good. What's lazy git? I don't think I used lazy git that much. I installed it, but I never really did anything with it. JQ I love. jQuery. But I don't think it's needed. gzip, no. Grep should already be installed. gparted. What about GNOME keyring? What are we doing for a keyring here? So we have the poll kit. I don't see a keyring, so probably GNOME keyring. Game scope and all that would probably be extra. A different setup for that. flame shot is already in here. Flat pack's an interesting one, but there's nothing that really we're using for flat pack, so I think it's fine right now. But now that I think about it, I kind of want to use flat pack in the future, specifically with that one package we added. When we look at this ignition setup, this is pretty cool. We're having a lot of errors on like Cups desktop and a bunch of different other things. Dropbox, what the hell? I haven't used Dropbox in years and years and years. Why is that there? How strange. Nothing else there. I think I'll probably dump a lot of these in here. But I can go through and clean that up a bit. The rest aren't there. And then it's kind of weird because adding a new one is done all via hotkey. So even though you have search in some things, you can't really do anything unless you know the hotkey. So if you were to like go Control N, you could go add this one and you can actually select, and then you could select exactly what you wanted. So if I wanted to add like HTOP or ignition or whatever to my startup, I could just click it and then it would start this up. I like that. So if I were going to add Synergy right here on the startup, I would just click this and go. Actually, that's not that bad. So do that. Enable. Done. But I think you could actually just do like a dash minimize, right? That's interesting. So if we go create, then you have Synergy that just gets added. Ah, okay. Yeah, so I think that would be kind of a cool addition. And then we got to do some kind of global theming fix, which we already have that in LinUtil. What is the best tool to use to stop my laptop screen from going black after a certain amount of time? X screensaver gaming. So if you're looking to do this, just go X screensaver, and you can just, the package is X screensaver. So you can just do that. Launch into the settings, go to advanced, uncheck power management. And this is going to make sure it doesn't turn off your monitor. Now, you can go that, or you can just say disable screensaver. If you don't want a screensaver at all, you never want it to go off, you can just go here, turn off blanking, and then just say disable screensaver. Done. And that would take care of all your woes for going black or seeing that. To do it from a command line, typically if you want to see the settings too, you could do xsetq. So xsetq queries the Xorg server and says, hey, what's going on with my system? And down here, this is the most important part. DPMS is what turns your display off. That's your display power management signaling. With this enabled, your stuff's going to go to sleep. In my case here, it'll go to sleep after 600 seconds. So now you know, after 10 minutes, this would turn off, except it's disabled. So therefore it won't turn off. So you could actually set this a lot of different ways. Xset, and if you just do that, you can get, from a CLI perspective, set all this directly. So let's say you wanted to set the blanking time or those types of things. So you can go xset query. And then let's say you want to set that standby time. So you can look it up and go, you know what? Let's go. This is the screensaver control. What about the DPMS control? Let's see if we can find that. So then you have minus DPMS, that would turn it off, plus DPMS, that would turn it on. You could also go DPMS standby and then an implicit value. So then you could go, you know what, I want X set DPMS standby to be 300. Except that didn't work. Standby. If you do a force, it'll enable the DPMS feature. A timeout value of 0 disables the mode. So let's say we go off 0. Still no good. Force off. Let's try force off. Oh, crap. Yeah, don't do that. That just does it immediately. Okay. For specifying it from command line, where is that? Yeah. That's interesting. I know you could set it directly in X screensavers, which is how I usually do it. Or if I want to just remove, I would just do this, DPMS, and that would just disable DPMS altogether. So that's the big thing. You either use DPMS or you don't. If you want to configure DPMS and change the turn off period, I would just use X screensaver. But anyways, sorry, I digress. So we got flat pack. Continuing on, Dunst is already here. That's a notification service. So if we look, we have Dunst right there. Great. Dex. We added Dex, right? Yep. B-Top's another one I really like. A lot of people may not like that though, so I'll probably leave that off. Yep. All right, cool. Well, I just wanted to review the dependencies here for Pac-Man. All those look good. There's not really anything there that I would change. So that's good. Let's get rid of that line. That's extra. Get rid of that space. So we install the packages. Then we make DWM right here. We clone that to home.local share DWM. Then CD into DWM. Yeah, that's fine. Installing Meslo Nerd font, we're doing it manually. We could do it through the package manager though. Configure and clone the config folders. We have the .config, make directory. This is just where we're copying stuff. Then we recursively go through, copy all our config folders over. We also do the backgrounds, home pictures. And then we also have pick directory backgrounds. Interesting. this is wrong. Pick directory should be backgrounds. Like, what you doing here? Unnecessary. Gravy, that looks good. Great. So then we have our backgrounds directory, everything's copied over. Setting up Xorg. We do exit and X server, nothing else. We set up the display manager, and then we're doing the astronaut. Good. So the terminology here, we go set the environment, escalation. This is just some pre-checks. Set up the display manager first, set up DWM, make it and install it. Then we install the nerd font, configure the config, and then we do the backgrounds. I think that's good. All right, Lazy G, DWM update. Let's do a build. Bash script is written in what language? Bash. Where's your background setting to change the background to keep the one background forever? It's just everything, all the pictures and backgrounds in your pics directory is what gets cycled. If you only want one background, just delete all the other pictures and then just throw whatever background you want in there. That's all you need to do. Okay, so Bash is a separate language than C. Very different language. Bash is a scripting language. C is a low-level language. Massive difference between the two. Massive. Like, wow, big time difference. Let's go. I think we can go SCP projects var www.html, and then we can do this. One's gonna be oh, actually, let's copy release. Is it debug? Oh, heck. 1 second. Target. Okay. I think it's SCP target debug LinUtil, and then we push that over into projects var www.html. I started doing this instead of doing a publish because I only want to publish LinUtil when I need to, because I don't want to do more than one publish a day. Although we could do like an A/B. Someone mentioned in a stream that you could go -B and you can make a different version. I was like, it's probably a good idea. All right. And then what we can do, let's go Vert Manager, and we're going to create a new Arch Linux. Oh man, I got rid of the Arch Linux one. Dang, man. Arch Linux. Let's just do 10. 20 gigs is fine. Finish. Fix the topology. Great. Gravy. Begin. All right, let's install DWM, see how it does. It should be very friendly to all virtual machines. Should take a look at Git work trees. You will love it. Ooh. Man, I do love Git. I don't know how I live without Git. For real. Let's do curl fizzle christitus.com linux sh. Oops, actually, this is not going to be the right one. That's incorrect. We need to do a wget projects christitus.com /LinUtil. Let's go pacman syy, pacman swget. All right, let's just wget this again. Projects, and what I'm doing is just pulling down like a alpha version of this from what we just built on the system. Since this is completely separated out, I'm just pulling it off the repo. The binary though. So actually we're not even gonna pipe anything to it. All right, LinUtil, bam. Now we have that. We do a listing, chmod, execute LinUtil, then launch. All right, great. So this is LinUtil. Let's go to system setup, Arch server setup, yes. Titus, test, Arch. Yep. We'll do better. Well, now we'll do ext4 US. And this should work, and usually installs Arch in about 2 minutes. And then we'll reboot into the thing. We'll relaunch LinUtil. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, the bug zapper. Oh, the bug zapper came already. You're about to die, mosquito. I totally forgot. Ha 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 ha. Little bastard. I got your extermination here. Yeah. Ah, yes. Bug Zapper 3000. Didn't go with the cheapo model either. We got the instruction manual. We got that. Bam. Alrighty. And what's this? Okay, the bugs, I guess, die and fall into here. Haha. Oh no. What happened? Oh no, camera died. Install the battery? What? What is happening? What happened? Camera? Well, I've really gotten my money's worth of this camera. So, all right. Well, let me uninstall that, I guess. Let's see. Oh no, wrong button. Crap. Well, all right. 1 second. I'm just working on it. Goodness gracious. Okay. Nope, that's not it. Huh. Where did I install that thing? It's not that, it's not that. It's not that, is it? Maybe it is that. Ah, there we go. Uh-oh. Hey! Hey now! Alright. I think I have it though. It's bug zapper time. Yeah! Death to you, mosquito! Ha ha ha! Yes! Death shall become of you. Alright, mosquito, the bug zapper is over that way. Just go die. Any second now. Alright. Was there anything special I needed to do? Sorry, I got excited. I saw the bug zapper and I am intrigued. Safety instruction. Do not use an inflammable or explosive locales. I think we're fine. Check local voltage before plugging in. Sure. Hang or place bug zapper out of reach of children. Pretty sure I don't count. Do not disassemble any fixed part of the product. Okay, yeah. And clean the metal grid regularly. Avoid violent shaking. Alright, can be placed anywhere. Keep the bug zapper in a dark place when it's working. Well, this is not a dark place. We got a gajillion lights on right now. Chances are we do not have any chance of that. Alright. Well, seems pretty good. We'll try it out. If I don't get bit, we'll be fine. Those damn mosquitoes. Hey, Arch did get installed, by the way. Alright. So. Quit this. Give it a reboot. Arch Linux. Phoenix still working on his workstation. His window manager. I look forward to it. It's written in Odin. By Ginger Bill. Just watch the Apple event. So much innovation. Old set font V18B. Oh, that's nice. I really do like that edition. Let's do I have wget? I do. Wget. And I don't think, I didn't think it would grab, let's just grab the alpha of LinUtil again, project, Chris Titus, LinUtil. Oh no. Oh no, that's fine. Oh, projects. I misspelled it. My bad. LinUtil. LinUtil. All right. Now let's finish this install. We're going to go multi. I'm going to grab bash. I don't think we even need to grab Ghosty, actually. Yeah, let's grab Ghosty, DWM, and Rofi. So we'll grab bash, Ghosty, DWM, Rofi. Should be good. Let's hit yes. And then let's get to installing. Oh, poor Apple. They might have to use some of their $5 trillion or whatever it is. Yeah, DWM is the window manager. DWM stands for Dynamic Window Manager. Oh man, I think I'm gonna like this a lot. Install gum, sure. Yeah. Maybe I rewrite everything in the DWM with gum so I can make it all fancy. Let's go with a complete install. We'll cyberpunk this out. We're gonna go pipe wire jack. Not jack, but pipe wire jack. Yeah. At first I thought it was me removing DHCP CD, but just like Duo said, you don't need it when you have Network Manager. And that's what my initial knee-jerk thought was. So when it came back, I was like, this didn't resolve. I was like, oh man, maybe I did need it. And then I was like, nope. I just misspelled projects and forgot it was plural, not singular. Usually it's something simple like that. All right, we'll go cyberpunk. Install that. Symlink it. They have a new fusion camera system that combines an ultra wide and a wide camera. That's pretty cool. Now, in a perfect world, this install, if you copied everything I just did, it would install on any PC and it would look pretty much like what we see here in my setup, replicated across the board. Now, it's still not perfect. I'm still working on multi-monitor support. The footwork and groundwork's laid for multi-monitor, so it pretty much works, but it's not 100%. And then the next thing is laptop support. And I haven't really done much in the laptop side of things, so I really need to make sure I look at easily changing display. So how I have the bar up here at the top This is the sound bar. See how we're turning up and down the volume? I want another bar, and it's going to be laptop brightness. And that bar will just be a scroll bar up and down for laptop brightness. And then battery. Battery would also need to be another bar probably as well. Probably will make these bars shorter though. I think they could go about half the width. Anywho, let's see what we got here. Let's quit and reboot. See what we get. Grub did not get themed out there. Strike one. That's okay. We do have proper display management there. We do have a bar. We got a pimped out ghosty. Nice. All right. We have our Rofi. We did not copy the scripts properly, it looks like. We have Zoxide over here, but we do not have the rest of the scripts from DWM. So we somehow, or I screwed this up, where this should be share, DWM, scripts, star, copy those to here. It should look like this, so then the key bindings will work. So that's a little bit off. Right now we don't have a browser installed, so let's install a browser. We're just gonna go stock Chromium. Gravy. So then you have your chat Jippity. Bam, there it is, perfect. And then Grok. Web apps is working great. Uses those scripts. We have, let's go number 2, Chromium base. Another thing I probably would do, let's go LinUtil again. Let's go christitus.com. Linux. And global theme. I probably would just install global theme as well. I wish I had a way to like properly inject. So, hey, this is installed. Let's configure and check all these things. I'd have to write something in Rust, which I'm not great at. To do that, be kind of cool. Anywho, I like that so much. All right, cool. That's all pretty good. Let's do... What about Pavu control? Did that not... Audio is not working. Okay. Huh. Let's reboot again, just to see what the issue is. I never did theme grub, which is fine. I think I left it that way because some people were complaining about the theming I was doing on grub. I always liked my theming, but you know, that's great. Yeah, still nothing there. I think this would be fine on bare metal though. I think that's a VM issue. I probably didn't add. Do I even have sound? I don't think I added sound. Yeah, I don't see any sound. So now I'd have sound. So let's power it off. Let's see if it happens now that we have... Oh, no, there's sound. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so sound's there now. Let's power it back on. Pretty good. Not bad for a first run at the update to DWM. I think most people could get completely functional from here. I still don't think that's working. Oh. Let's go NWG look. So we would need to do... I think an icon theme, a cursor theme, and then there's no global theme here. Yeah, let's go just, I'm going to just install Nordic just to see what this looks like. Theming's probably going to be the next thing we tackle. If we go NWG look, is there a prefer? Oh. Is there a prefer darks theme here? Preferences, other, font, mouse, icon. Yeah, there's no, oh wait, no. Prefer dark. There it is. Could we do like a G settings, prefer dark on the setup maybe? I think that'd be fine. And then it's reflective of that. Okay. Yeah, so just a NWG look, which gets installed. You could do whatever theme you want then. Then you could go NWG look, Nordic, apply. Yeah, prefer dark. Icon, I would, you know, for icons, I don't necessarily mind the Adwada, but I probably would prefer like a papyrus. Now, you might be thinking, why papyrus? And the answer to that question is, I like saying papyrus. Papyrus. Papyrus is awesome. It sounds so good, it just rolls off the tongue. Papyrus. Ah, so good. Anyways, then just go into icon after installing like a papyrus theme. Bam. Oh, I think just standard old papyrus. There it is. Just a thing of beauty. These icons look awful. That's so funny. I wonder what I do for that. Some of the widgets there look a little funky. So if you go, can't really change it. Huh. Maybe that's a Nordic problem, how that looks like that. Papyrus dark. Let's try that. Yeah, okay, that was it. Yeah, now we're good. Yeah, so you want, sorry, papyrus dark, then widgets look good. So if you have a bunch of weird looking icons on the top right, just come into your icon theme, make sure you pick dash dark, and that's gonna make these lighten up because you're preferring a dark theme. So then we got our dark theme. We have our bar up here. So if you launch that, you could do Firefox, Chromium, it should just default. You have this, we'll go tiling. Oh, that looks so good. You can see you got your switching. It's pretty darn good, y'all. Not too shabby. So then we just got to work on the theming. Out of all those things, what do we need to fix off the gate? Probably a prefer dark. I don't know about probably using Nord right out of the gate too. So when I'm looking here, the backgrounds did work, so that was good. I remember in the past backgrounds didn't function properly. What was the thing that didn't work though? Oh, the key bindings, the scripts. That was the problem. That we do have to fix. What's this? Why doesn't that work? Riddle me that, Batman. That looks correct. Home.local share DWM-Titus scripts star, select it all, put it into home.local bin /. Why doesn't that work? If the directories don't exist, it will make them. So obviously that's fine. Well then, why wouldn't that copy over? .local share DFM. Let's look at the make file maybe. I don't think I see anything here that's problematic. The install looks good. Everything here looks very universal and standardized. So that's fine. What could it be? What could it be? Did I use the... No, I used the right one. All right, let's just pull in LinUtil. DWM setup. Let's go new. This line doesn't appear to be copying the scripts into the .local bin folder. Why? Let's see if it can tell me. Oh, the problem is the wildcard star is inside quotes, which prevents shell expansion. When quoted like this, the shell treats scripts /star as a literal string rather than expanding it to match files. Here is the fix. You do quote and then star outside the quotes, or alternatively, you could do scripts with a dot. This would copy all the contents of the scripts directly, including the hidden files. So I don't like to put the star outside the quotes, so doing a dot would be the proper way of doing it. How weird, I didn't understand that syntax. So if you're doing two quotes, you can't use an asterisk to say all files in a directory. You have to either do a dot like this, or you can go outside and do an asterisk outside of it to specify all files. Obviously, the dot would be the way I'd look at it. It just looks more uniform and just prettier. Very interesting. I did not know that fun fact. That is a good fact to know. Wow. better do a loop for every file. I don't think there's a reason to do a loop, right, Dua? Like, why add the extra line space when we can just do a dot and it'll recursively do the copy? When it can be issued with a one-shot command, why not use the one-shot command? I don't see a purpose of doing a loop. Unless it's like folders and it needs to do like recursively throughout the entire thing with a bunch of folders and files, then yeah. But if it's just all the files in a single directory, I like the dot. I prefer it. Yeah. All right, let's test. Let's test it. I really think that's it, though. I think we do a publish. I know y'all are like, Titus, don't do that. And you're probably right. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta have some fun. And today is the 9th. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a little fun. We're gonna go cargo. We're gonna come on onto the versioning. Yes, 9 and 9. Oh, I like that version name. That's a cool version name. All right, now onto the next cargo. And we're gonna come down into core version, core. Yes, come on over to here. Let's replace that with a 9. And replace that with a 9. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. Now we have a published script now. I don't remember writing the published script, so let's just look at it. Yeah. That's good. Publish. Let's go. So we're fixing up. Man, that's a cool version name. So we're going to just publish it as is. I'm almost certain this is going to work. Unless AI lied to me. Which that's never happened. Oh no. Oh no. Fix scripts error in DWM setup. And now we're good to go. Oh man. It's the 2021. That's when the idea popped in my head. It's the addition. Actually, I think it's like a cargo. That's something with the Rust. I remember I tried to change the date to like 2025, and Rust did not like that at all. And I do mean not at all. All right. So now we've published with cargo. Now we can go into LinUtil. And oh, we got some pull requests over here. Oh man, chaotic AUR. I've been meaning to add that support. Let's see how they did it. Let's make sure they did it right. Let's double check those entries. Like CDN mirror chaotic.cx for the chaotic R. AUR's chaotic.cx. Also Zap. What the hell is Zap? Is an open source WhatsApp desktop client? Okay. Z. Oh, he's just expanding the user guide a little bit. We already added those. Man, what a Chad. That looks really good, but we'll double check just to make sure nobody pulls a fast one on us. You gotta worry about that sometimes in open source. It's every once in a while, like maybe once out of 50 requests I'll run into some shady stuff, but it's still worth double checking. It looks good to me though. Chaotic AUR. Yes, yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, he did it right. I can tell you already. So if you go getting started, you'll see there's the chaotic ring. It's chaotic.cx from the cd-mirror. And that's exactly what he wrote. Thank you, GitHub guy 132010. You are a Chad. You are amazing. Thank you. Yes, approved. Nice. Let's go ahead and let the run. What a nerd. Plus 1,000 social credits. I know I totally forgot to do the snapshot duo. We're going to do it this time. I think I got just so excited about installing DWM through the script that I was like, let's go. But yeah, let's double check. So other than the scripts thing, you still got to do the theming. So the theming's still manual as of today. In the next stream, I think we set up automated theming, and we also do some things of that nature as well. Oh crap, are sale checks failing? What's going on here? What suggestions do you have there for me, sale check? Give me all of the suggestions. Okay. Info. Echo may not expand escape sequences. Use printf. Oh, yes. My bad. He's using a bash. A bashism. Down with your bashism. I did all that praising, but some changes need to be made. We need to make sure it's POSIX compliant. Like the nerds we are. Negative 10 nerd points to you. Was there any other show? I don't think there was, actually. This is all documentation updates. I still love this PR. How do we want to do that? Let's just pull an example. I think it was just like printf. I can't remember if I was doing anything else with my printf there. Let's go to TUI tabs. Let's use a basic printf, like browser, sure, Brave. Yeah, probably like printf yellow. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll need to RC it with a quote. Yeah. Can do green as well. Okay. Let's go back to that PR. I know I probably should do this through code, but sometimes I just like using the browser. Just because, I don't know. I'm sick. I'm just a sick man sometimes. All right, let's go and change that. Edit file. And then we're going to come to the echo. Paste this guy. Oh, this is doing a T. Oops. Never mind, cancel. I'm going to screw this up because he's echoing and then T'ing this into the file. This is not output to the user. This is output directly into the pacman.conf. Yep. No color change. We need to... All right, I don't want to screw this up. We'll do it legit. Fine. GitHubs. Local pull requests. We'll have to... I think it's this one. Yes. This is where we shall update it. Shell format with blah blah blah. Let's do a checkout. It looks like Car already got on here and was like, hey man, you gotta fix that printf. The echo is the main problem there. So we're gonna check this out, and then go into the config. Quick fix. No, cancel. Let's go new. Switch to a printf from echo for the T command. Is that good? Just doing printf from echo. Yeah, that should be fine. Because the new line should still register as printf. Because it doesn't like require like a carriage return, I don't believe. But no, new line's fine. I'm overthinking it. All right, let's do that. Fix remaining echo. Switch echo to print for POSIX compliance. Commit, push. I think they used T so they could sudo T right into the file piping and won't retain the sudo privilege. I think it's fine on the sudo T because that's what's writing it. So when you look at it right here, you're echoing this and piping it to a sudo T pacman.conf. So I think that's fine. Because you're just adding a new line, chaotic AUR, breaking to another new line, include equal pacman chaotic mirror list. So that should be sufficient. All right, now we can merge. So let's come on back. Come on back. We're gonna just stay in old code like a real developer. All right, now update with merge commit. I think actually we just... I'm not going to approve my own changes. So I think just an update merge commit, right? No. Maybe, yeah. Let's see. Should be fine. double check that from a browser perspective. Let's go LinUtil. Pull request. Oh, damn. Did that screw everything up? No. We're fine. And we got our printf there now. Okay. Yep. Everything's good. I just wanted to verify. Everything looked good there. So everything's printf oriented. Let's rerun the checks under the conversation view, just to double check it's seeing there. And then we can merge it. All right, approve and run. like a real developer. After the T, are we dev null for suppressing output, or do we care about that? I don't think we care about that. Probably not. Let's see. We'll make sure that shell check and bashisms come back clean with a green check box. And then once that does, then we'll go ahead and do the merge. I know this kind of seems silly to double check all this stuff, but I really care about standardization. Too many Linux projects that I see just kind of go willy-nilly with the code, and then it just gets kind of unmaintained, and then it's ugly, and I just hate it. So that's why I do it this way. See, I just like green check marks. Something in there just like makes me feel good. So that's why we do that. All right, now let's merge and squash and merge. I remember I think it was on LinUtil during the early days when I was just figuring out Git, and I was forgetting to squash and merge. And a lot of people don't realize the difference between merge and squash and merge. Massive difference. So what happens with real developers is they'll do a PR, right? And that's what we're reviewing right now. And you want to merge all those changes they made into your project. If you do a squash and merge, it takes all the commits they made for that pull request, squashes them into one commit, and then merges it. Now, if you just do a merge, let's say that developer worked on that pull request for 3 months and did 100 commits during that 3-month period of time. I know that's an extreme example, but it's an example nonetheless, especially with more complex projects, you run into it. And you do a merge. Instead of squashing them into one, it grabs every commit that developer ever made on that pull request and merges it into your project. So now your project has 300 more commits instead of just having one commit. And it just, I don't even know why that option exists. It's such a terrible option. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but almost 99% of the time that I've ever seen, you always want to squash and merge when dealing with pull requests. The only time I guess you wouldn't is if it's your own PR maybe. But even then, I want to squash and merge it because it's usually a feature. And I want that feature, all the changes I made for that feature to be in one commit. It just is so much cleaner. So I don't know. Yeah. Oh, in Japan, for grading, they use circles for correct, X or check mark for incorrect, and sometimes triangles for partial correct. That's weird. I wonder what the rationale is there. I know they score very high. I mean, being a Texan, we're pretty much bottom of the barrel when it comes to public education. So that just seems weird to me. But yeah, that's odd. That's good little tidbit there, Razzle, though. All right, we've got that. We've got our PR done and merged. let's close that and we'll go to the main branch. Just to keep history, not lose all commits. If there was a bug, you could just revert to commit instead of the pull request features that you're going to add. I guess that makes sense if it was a couple ones, but I mean, every time I've ever seen a PR, it's typically one of two. Usually there's like 3 or 4 commits in a PR, or there's like 100 commits in a PR. And if it's over a long period of time and it gets intermingled with all the other commits of your project, you could have had a bug 100 commits ago that then you get in there and you're just like, well, this whole project's screwed now. I guess we're going to do a git reset hard and wipe it out before this thing ever got committed. So then you usually go back through your releases and then you find that exact commit and then git reset hard and then just flush everything anyways. Again, I just don't see how you'd ever want to do a merge and not a squash and merge. I don't know. It's just me. Even complex stuff, I think it's even more problematic not doing a squash and merge, because typically those features, I guess there has to be some rationale from a programming standpoint, but I just have a hard time, especially if it's 2 different programmers. I have a hard time pulling everyone's commit in, all their commits with their PR into a whole bunch of different commits throughout the history of the project, because the commits won't all be pushed at the same time. Those commits get issued to the historical log. So then those commits, if they did a commit 7 days ago, that commit shows up on your project. I don't know. Just seems hard to track. So I always do squash and merge. Okay. Sweet. Oh no, doomsday for you. Sorry to hear about it, Sin. Laptop has water damage, roof is leaking, and I have exams in 3 weeks. Oh, my heart goes out to you, brother. It sucks. Oh yeah, let's look at that Git tree. I swear someone brought that up to my attention before. Git tree. Oh. There we go. Go Git work tree. Git work tree is a powerful tool that allows you to check out multiple branches simultaneously in the same directory or same repository. Useful when you need to work on multiple features, bug fixes, and perform code reviews without having to switch branches or clone repositories constantly. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm just a simpleton. I think it probably goes back to my squash and merge idea here, Rux. I like working singularly on one feature, getting it perfect, merging it, and then getting it off my books, and then working on the next one. Like when I open up projects, what gives me anxiety is when there's 100 pull requests for 100 different features, and you're like, well, what are we doing? Which features are you going to put in first? And then there's this whole almost selection anxiety that happens, or just over, I don't know. I just don't like that. I hate projects that have more than 10 pull requests, and I try and get those pull requests down, whether I'm closing out features or just not going. Anything over 10 pull requests, I'm like, I got to get rid of some stuff. I got to accept some stuff. I got to get this down. It just drives me crazy. So I could see there are probably people that can jump around real easily between all the different PRs, and I could see the benefit in that. But for me, I usually just pick the PR that are his highest priority to me, check it out, and then go until it hits a merge. And then it's off my books, it's off my pull requests, and then I can go on to the next thing. So I'll either get it done, get it across the finish line, or close it out and get rid of it. Having multiple work trees, I can totally see from a professional standpoint, someone that's really good, that doesn't work like me, how this could be extremely beneficial. But for me, I am very much a all the way or nothing kind of guy, where I just like, I'm getting this one thing done and I just keep going. So yeah, that's cool though. That's a really neat thing. I just don't think I would use this because working on multiple branches simultaneously would just totally screw me up. That's like a 10x dev that does that. It's pretty cool though. Appreciate you letting me know. Maybe in the future when I get real good, if that ever happens. No promises. Yeah, I love just straight linear Git history. I love it. Now, I don't use Git bisect. I don't know what that is. 1 second. Explain Git bisect to me. All right, let's break down Git bisect in plain terms. What it does, it helps find the exact commit where a bug or regression was introduced. Instead of checking every commit one by one, Git bisect uses binary search to narrow it down quickly. If you have 1,000 commits, instead of testing all 1,000, you might only need to test 10 commits. That's cool. So you go git bisect start, mark the bad commit, usually the one that has the bug, git bisect bad. Mark a good commit, a point in history where you know the bug didn't exist. This tells Git the bug wasn't present at git commit hash. Git will then check out a commit in between the good and bad ones. You test the code of the commit, then mark it git bisect bad or git bisect good. Repeat until Git says commit hash is the first bad commit. Optional, automating it. If you have a test script, you can automatically detect the bug. Exit code 0, which is good, 1 is bad. You can let Git handle everything. With git bisect start, git bisect bad, git bisect good, commit hash, and then run test script. That would have to get fleshed out a little bit more than that. When you're done and you found the commit, git bisect reset will reset back to your normal branch. Oh, that's cool. What does it do with the bad ones when you go git bisect bad? That's interesting. Oh, cool. Huh. Now do the same with work tree. Oh, God, you guys are gonna make my brain is already at its capacity for the day. I don't think I can learn anything else. I'm an old man. We only learn one thing at a day. I already told you guys I'm very single-minded. We've already learned everything I can learn today, I think. You revert the bad commit or edit to fix the bug. Oh, okay. I can see how that's beneficial. All right. Dude, we still haven't done the stupid PR. All right, 1 second. Was there any other PRs before we go here? Add Discord URL. Oh, what was this? Was this just a... Oh, yeah, just a README. Sweet. Sure. Let's go ahead and grab that in. Just updating of the README. Any other PRs I can knock out with this one? Bug, applications, minor bugs. What do we have? Firefox bug, Chrome bug. Okay. Exit repo under apt-get and Libre Wolf. Okay. Discord, just a removal and cleanup of the deb file. Flatpak install FlatHub, not escalation tool. That was for Telegram, FreeOffice. I'm just cleaning up with the removal. Grep latest under gaming setup instead of beta. Bro, perfect. Approve, squash and merge. Anything else? Oh, yeah, I already looked at that one. I don't think I'm going to merge this one. Yeah. Oh, no. He came back and removed some bashisms, refactored. Alfonso did it. What all were we adding here, though? System setup, desktop, uninstall. I think these were... Oh, these are new. Okay, cool. So they're not rewriting anything. Just some globbing errors, not a big deal. Meh, don't care. Very cool. I think that's a good start for desktop environments for install and uninstall. Probably would put those in a singular script, but I honestly, just doing the straight up work right here, I think is sufficient. All right. Nothing changing there. Let's approve that. Oh, we do have some shell check. What was the problem with that? Was it just the globbing? Oh. Dang. Yeah, we need to fix the globbing. I approve it, but we'll need to fix globbing. Fix shell check errors. Need to fix globbing and shell check errors, like using read -r improperly. I probably should have done switch changes, but whatever. We'll get there eventually. This is fine for now. Let's do a release. Let's go release. And run workflow, done. And then we'll have our new release right here. The release does take forever. I forgot. Oh, and I wanted to fix omarchy as well. Damn. Keep forgetting about that. Well, why we wait? Let's create a pull request. Oh, actually, no. Best way to do that would probably... You know what? Well, let's create an issue. That way I don't forget about it. DWM. Install WinBoat. Okay, that was fixed. Okay. Then we need a new issue. Bug report. Switch omarchy to official install. I believe the shell script's still working, but they keep changing things so quickly with it that it's like, hard to say. It's gonna be Wayland. What was it? 819. Let's go. 5.8.19. Actually, this is going to exist in 9.9, so let's just make it 9.9. Oh, yeah. Oh, it doesn't even show the install anymore. Dang. Does not like that. All right, let's go search, install. Oh, they've completely gotten rid of the install script. Well, wait. No, that's not right. Ah, dang. Let's see. Yeah, he just wants you to use the ISO now. He's like, nah, I'm not doing the script to install. Oh, but here we go. This way does still work. Okay, cool. Just a little different. Yeah, you really have to dig for it now. All right, well. Let's just copy that. Ah, what? Ah, there. It's like, dang it. All right, let's just create that. I feel like overhauling the issues markdown. Some of it's a little bit redundant, specifically this additional context and screenshots. Like, all those should get wrapped up into steps to reproduce or expected behavior. I think that should be a little bit better. I do like the issue submission though. That's solid. Okay. Did we finally get a release? Yes. All right, there's our release. Just go here with that. It's changed. DWM upgrade and cleanup by Titus. DWM config changes and fixes. Titus. What else we fix? That's good enough. Let's just make a note down here. Note: DWM still needs multi-selection for bash, ghosty, rofi installs to function properly. Okay. Set that as the latest release. Boom. So you install the server, reboot, and then do DWM bash ghosty rofi and then you're good to go. Let's test it. See how we got. Man, sorry. Whew. Yeah. Alrighty. My goodness. All right, let's delete this one. Delete. We're gonna create it again. One last time with feeling. You know what? I think we still need to download the new Arch. Hell, we'll use the older one. It's not that big a deal. Probably shouldn't do it this way, but I kind of want to just test it just to verify from a new user perspective. This is what we'll see. And I'm going to remember to do the snapshot for sure. Thank you for pointing that out, Rux. I'm going to snapshot it. We're going to have the initial and we'll be good. So here we go. First, we'll do a curl fizzle christitus.com/Linux sh. We should see version 25.9.9, today's date. And we do. So we properly published it. So then Arch server setup right here. We're going to install Arch. We'll put our username, password, test Arch. Yep. We'll do BetterFS. Or no, we'll do ext4. I always do ext4. Just simple. No, I think BetterFS we have to rework in this. I don't think it sets up the partitions or the sub volumes properly in BetterFS. UWP Games. What's that? UWP Games. Why am I drawing a blank on that? Universal Windows Platform Games? Microsoft Store Games. I gotcha. I don't know if they'll ever do that or not. Is Xbox still like dead last in the platform wars? I know PlayStation was just completely dominating the console wars this past iteration. Almost everyone's using PlayStation, which is kind of surprising because the Xbox offering I didn't think was that bad. And I want to say that because I remember I got an Xbox here. I think it was the cheapo Xbox, but it was like $200. Super cheap. So I was kind of surprised. Initializing machine ID for random generator. I wonder what that was. I do not recall. We have a little bit of artifacting here. Looks a little strange. What's our time look like? I think we're only a minute in. Let's see. Did it get stuck? Give it 30 more seconds. Yeah, there is no Xbox exclusive. I mean, they definitely could. I mean, they own Bethesda and a bunch of other big name studios, but they have to be careful, I think, with how they approach that, because if they get too greedy with the exclusives, then they get called out as a monopoly. Although companies these days, I just don't think really care about being called a monopoly. They're like, well, we are, and we own all the politicians, so who cares? Like, even when they're like, they get convicted of being a monopoly, the government's still like, ha, you bad monopoly, we're going to penalize you. You got to pay 0.01% of your revenue to us as a fine. I just feel like that's what happens. You silly, silly corporations. A la Google Chrome. Yeah, exactly, Nader. Yep, it's a monopoly. Google, you own everything. But you can keep doing what you're doing. We're just going to fine you. I don't know. What? What are you thinking? 100 million? Yeah, that sounds good. All right, yep. I forget, what was their fine? Didn't they have to pay... I mean, it's still a lot of money, obviously, but not to Google. Like, having a monopoly makes them way more money than getting the penalties. Like, the penalties are so laughable at best that it's more of like a cost of doing business than an actual penalty. Like, it has to hurt them, ideally, but I don't even know how you fix it. Like, the Google Chrome thing to begin with was weird. Of all the monopolies in the tech space, Google Chrome, and the only person that could buy Google Chrome's like other tech monopolies. So, like, what was the end game there? That's what you get when you get a bunch of 70-year-olds making policy. They just don't understand. I still think back to when they were interviewing Zuck during when they were grilling them, all the tech execs, and these old guys up on the stand, you know, like 70 years old, barely halfway with it, probably should be in a damn nursing home. My favorite meme's like, oh, let's not put them in a nursing home, let's make them run for Congress. Not too far off, man. Come on, man. The last couple presidents we've had have been like 80. 80, man. 80. I remember before my grandpa passed what he was like at 80. And that's just insane. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get into it, but still wild to me. Like, think about how, like, as a 40-year-old, I feel like I'm in the prime. You have some wisdom, you have some experience. But I think by the time you're 50s, you're starting to lose it a little bit. And then well into 60s and 70s, you are on the downward trend mentally. And then by 80, damn, you're either dead or in a nursing home or just not with it. Is good night. That's just, yeah, you're just a shell of your former self. And I just, drives me crazy. Oh no. Oops, my bad. It's Titus.com. Linux. SH. Fat fingered that a little bit, but it's fine. All right, now, oh, wait. Snapshot. Almost missed it again. See, you get me talking, and then I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, gosh, I tell you. All right, there we go. Good. We got our snapshot. All right, let's go. Bash, Ghosty, DWM, Rofi. Boom. Let's install, and then we should have some magic. All right, here we go. The magic's about to happen here. I mean, we've got it down pretty good, I think. There's a couple spots where you could totally screw up. One, entering your pseudo password, not accepting Starship and just hitting enter. That would avoid that, and then you're going to screw up your prompt. What other spots might be hiccups here? I think there's a part in here where it requests jack or pipewire jack. Gum as well. Gotta accept gum, so we could do a no prompt or no interactive. So we could do non-interactive for that. The SDDM astronaut. I kind of like this being interactive. It looks good. Yeah, this is where people screw up. So yeah, it's this one. You need pipe wire, obviously. Nobody uses old school, or very few uses non-pipe wire. I remember I actually did a video where I was like, you shouldn't use pipe wire if you're doing DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve has some weird pipe wire bugs. It's causing like my audio scripting to be off, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, why isn't Starship installed from Pac-Man? I think that's an issue, Duo. I think we should look at that. And I want to say that's my bash script that needs to be updated. So we probably should update that as well. So let's just come down to Cyberpunk. In the grub theming itself during the server install, we probably should just remove it and make it hidden. And that way it just boots right into the system, because the grub menu's ugly. And I'm a big believer, if you're going to have a grub menu, you either theme it out or you make it hidden. There is no in between. The stock setting of displaying grub kind of drives me crazy. So I'll probably fix that as well. I probably should be writing all this down. Okay. Auto start. Paste that down here. Still got to do that. Plymouth still got to do. We did that today. And then fix install script. Okay. So first off, hide grub on install. What was the other things I just listed? See, it's already been 5 minutes and I've already forgotten. Starship should be non-interactive. Astronaut theme prompting for grub. Gum install. Wasn't there another interactive spot? Check for other interactive spots that need automation. Okay. Okay, so it's installed over here. Let's quit, reboot. Gum and pipewire jack, yeah. Auto secure boot signaling with SBCTL. Well, that'd be interesting. All right. Here's our login. Looks good. All right, perfect. So then we have Ghosty. Nice. We have our run menu or trophy. We have our key binding. So it's now, it did properly copy the scripts. So you go local bin. You can see we have our dbus. We have our DWM keybinds, Proton restart, web app launch. So we can launch directly into that. We still need to install a browser though. So we could, I don't know how automated I want to make DWM. Do we make it just say, hey, you're going to use Chromium? Hey, you're going to use Firefox? I feel like we should make like a prompt for that maybe. So browser is needed. Theming, this right here. Yeah, theming needs to happen. So probably, this is good though. This is such an improvement from where we started the day. So theming. This would be like NWG look, mouse, dark, prefer, etc. So we have non-interactive spots. That browser check, maybe. Do you have a keyboard you swear by? Not really, Mick. I've tried a bunch of keyboards. I like just really plain Jane keyboards. So this is the Logitech keyboard. What was this? Logitech MX Mechanical. It's not awful. It's okay. It's just a standard QWERTY mechanical keyboard, relatively quiet, feels decent. I really bought it for the 3 PC functionality. That's why I use it in here, not from actual typing standpoint. But I decided to get rid of all my obscure or weird keyboards, mainly because I switch between so many systems, whether it's laptop, whether it's my desktop here, whether it's my inside computer. I would literally have to buy 3 or 4 of the split keyboards to really, really use them all the time, everywhere, and then constantly swap. I just don't have the energy to do that anymore. I did it for a little bit. I had the Digma one, which worked pretty good before all the thumb keys started breaking on me. And then I was like, yeah, this just isn't worth it. I'm not picking up enough efficiency, and I don't feel like it was really helping with my carpal tunnel and stuff. Maybe it was. Maybe I need to give it another shot. I could get the ugliest keyboard known to man that Prime Engine swears by. What is it? The Kinesis? A lot of people swear by that keyboard, but God, is it massive and just ugly as sin. And it's $400 or some crap. And I'm just like, man, that's just too much. Just too much. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think this is good. Update roadmap. So we've got a good update on DWM here. It's really coming together though. Can anybody else think of something else? Now, you know what? Since I put the little bug zapper in, I haven't run into any issues. It's been pretty good. No complaints. Yeah, I like the Digma one. It was cool. It looked neat as hell. Like it glowed and it had a little cool built-in tint kit. The Digma one, I really wanted to love, and I did for a bit. And then it was just, there was just some issues. Like the Bluetooth was a little inefficient. The RF adapter that came with it was solid, so I used that everywhere. And it was good. It was neat, but yeah. Just didn't end up working out. Oh my god, now that's a link. Okay, 11.5. What do you got? That looks like some jank. God, it's so many. It's like all the colors. What's up with the, like, look at that. Mafidi. We're really proud of that name. I don't think they should have put that as prominent as they thought. Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, you got the cheap split keyboard. What you using, one dude, for the cheap split keyboard? Very, very quiet. Yeah, see, that's a big thing with me too. I hate the loud keyboards. One of the big things I like is when I'm streaming and I'm typing or I'm recording, I might want you to hear the keys just a little bit so you know I'm typing, but it should not be a prominent effect. So like cherry reds and really loud clicky keys, out the window. Absolutely not. I can't do it. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on the keyboard. All right, y'all. I think we shut it down for the day. That was great. Add some auto start files to .config auto start for the DWM setup. Ooh, that's so true. Yes. What was that? Let's see before we go. Scripts. No, what did I do with that? CD config. You know, is Polybar getting referred to properly? Oh, no. Yeah, Polybar doesn't run on its own config. I don't think. Pretty sure it uses like PWD, so it doesn't need to go into the .config folder. Pretty sure. Anyways, make directory auto start. Yeah, so all of our auto start would go into here. So that would be things that would get put into, but this would be like system to system. So it'd be very different. In Vim, readme, mark down. Notes on XDG auto start. Recommend using Flatpak to install programs on startup. And then let's go, what was that program name again? Flatpak. Was it flatpak.org? Yeah. And I don't remember, what were you? Ignition. Where's their search box? Yeah, there we go. Boop. So let's do Let's grab retrieve cat dot config auto start set refresh. What did I say? Oops. Dang it. Oh. Oops. Yeah, that would give you an example of an exact hidden auto start. Kind of has all the nice amenities just to get it kind of going. And lazy G auto start doc, get that kind of pushed in. And then the idea is we'll eventually pull all these markdown files into like a documentation, kind of like Omarchi does, so then people could actually use it. Was it 500 days on Arch? Are we at 500 days? Good night, look at that. Happy birthday to us. 500 days on Arch Linux with as much crap as I've been doing. That's a testament to Arch, man. Wow. Impressive. All right, y'all. Let's shut her down. Have a great one. I'll see you all on Thursday. And I'm going to work on some new stuff. Should be pretty fun. DWM, in reality, I think will take, really about 2 months. 2 months of grinding on it before we really have something that every normal user could use. Now, I think we're getting into the spot now with today's stream that someone that's used Linux before could easily grab this, install it, follow along with like today's stream and go, oh, okay, you install it this way, you get to a workable point, and I think they could hack around and kind of get going if they're familiar with Linux. But we want to go a step further and get it done for every person. And I think it's going to take about a couple months really of documenting, kind of cleaning up that workflow. I really like everything we set up so far. It's been very standardized and I think we're good. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to shut it down. Deuces.